Yes, guys, welcome back to more GBFC. Something special might well be happening at Aston Villa. They have beaten Nottingham Forest 2-1 in the Premier League. And what a game of football that was between two teams who are absolutely challenging for the top four spots in the Premier League this season. Or should I say, the top five spots in the Premier League this season. Nottingham Forest remain third in the Premier League. And Aston Villa, 4 wins now from their last 5 games. They're up to a neutral goal difference. And they sit there 6th in the league. They're a point ahead of Newcastle. But Newcastle have 2 games in hand. The reason I say that something special might be happening at Aston Villa is because this season, we're talking about a Premier League where, if you look at this, the title race, it's pretty much over after Arsenal's draw at Everton today. We go down. And we see at the bottom here, Ipswich, they're pretty much relegated, aren't they? Leicester, pretty much relegated. Southampton, pretty much relegated as well. And there's not really that much. If you're thinking from like an entertainment standpoint, it's all about the race for the Champions League and the European spots now. And not only are Aston Villa very much in contention for not only a Champions League place, but they're in the flipping Champions League quarterfinals against Paris Saint-Germain, the in-form side in Europe right now. And they're also in an FA Cup semi-final. This could go down as a monumental season. And the man on the thumbnail is Unai Emery. And this is the team that Unai Emery sent out today to beat Forest, and beat Forest they did. Emi Martinez, World Cup winner. Ian Martson, signing from Chelsea. Tyrone Mings. Axel Disasi, I'm going to say it, Axel Disasi will go into his performance in a minute. But this man at Aston Villa, that is where Disasi plays now. Do you know what I mean? Some players, they've just got their clubs that they fit into. And Disasi fits Aston Villa like a glove. He didn't fit at Chelsea, but he fits at Aston Villa. Garcia at right back, Onana, Yuri Tielemans. We're going to talk about the brilliance of him in a moment. Morgan Rogers, Asensio, Donyell Marlon, and Ollie Watkins. And then the players off the bench today. The substitutions, very key. Ezri Konsa, Kamara, Rashford, Ramsey, and John McGinn. We are talking about an Aston Villa side here that have got some serious depth in this team. You also got big names like Matty Cash, Pau Torres, Luca Dean. These guys not even coming off the bench. But today, I want to focus on one player in particular who I thought was absolutely brilliant. And it was that one moment from Yuri Tielemans, that pass for the first goal over the top is so good. If we take a look at the numbers of Yuri Tielemans today, 90 minutes played, 88% pass accuracy, 4 out of his 7 long balls, created 1 big chance, ground duels, 1-3 out of 5. But that pass for the opening Aston Villa goal that was finished by Morgan Rogers in the 13th minute is absolutely brilliant. There's a free kick just inside the Aston Villa half, and it's taken quickly. Tielemans gets it, and within a split second, Yuri Tielemans looks up. Morgan Rogers, brilliant first touch, and he buries it perfectly into the bottom corner of the net. And we're talking here, if we take a look at this Nottingham Forest team, we're talking about a Forest side this season that when you've got centre-backs like Milinkovic, Murillo, goalkeeper like Matt Sells, they are not giving up many opportunities this season, which is why, when it comes to Forest, yes, they don't have lots of the ball. We made a video about Nuno and what he's done to this Forest team. It's brilliant. And it's very similar to that of Crystal Palace as well. And we saw that in the Premier League today. Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest are so similar. They don't have the ball. They don't play loads of passes. But when they've got it, they're clinical with it going forward. They've got pace on the counter. And they hurt teams when they're going forward. But Nottingham Forest, this side again today, to be fair, if we take a look at these overall numbers, it's a brilliant game of football. 36 shots in total throughout the whole game. 5 big chances for Villa, none for Forest. But the difference was Aston Villa were clinical. And in the second half, Nuno changed it. And then Forest were on the attack a lot more. If we look at the momentum chart for the second half, you can see dominance from Aston Villa. Nottingham Forest couldn't get going, didn't get going. And then they really did in that second half. And what we have seen is a resilience here from an Aston Villa side who are probably right now thinking, well, do we look at this Premier League table and think we need to go for the jugular here because there are Champions League spots up for grabs? You've got Man City who have not been the same. Newcastle, is there a Carabao Cup win hangover? Chelsea, what are you going to get? Forest, should they be there? Will they stay there? And should we be chasing them down? And chase them down, they absolutely are starting to do from today. They're 6 points now behind Nottingham Forest. And with Forest being in uncharted territory, Aston Villa, with Unai Emery as their manager, you cannot write them off. But the fact that they've got Champions League games coming up against PSG, they've got the depth that they have in this squad so that they can change things in-game to bring players on, to shore things up. And look, I think on any given day today, if Forest were a bit more clinical in front of goal, so many chances that they had. I mean, they had, 19 shots? So many of them just going just wide of the post. It could have been a totally different story. But the fact that Aston Villa, they got the job done in the FA Cup, they're into the semi-finals there after a 3-0 win at Preston, and they're into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, being back in the Champions League, competing for it. And I want to say it again, we're talking about a league where the league is done. Liverpool are going to be the champions. It's about when. The relegation battle is over. Wolves today with their third consecutive win. They're 12 points clear of Ipswich. It's all about this race for the Champions League places. And some might say that Aston Villa will struggle because they're going to focus on FA Cup semi-finals, Champions League ties against Paris Saint-Germain, the in-form team in Europe. But I'm a firm believer that Unai Emery can absolutely coach a win in any knockout match. We know he's got so much pedigree in European football. So when I see the way that Aston Villa play and the way that they create these chances like Tielemans did today out of nothing, with players that can be clinical, like Morgan Rogers, who's having an absolutely unbelievable season, I think there's so much more that Aston Villa could achieve here. And I think the fact that they've been competing on all fronts is why it's only now we're really starting to see what they can do in the league. They've won 4 of their last 5 matches, as you can see here. And those January signings, so smart. Bringing in Marcus Rashford, who's looked revitalised. Asensio. I think before this weekend, maybe even still now, no player in the Premier League has got more goal involvements in all competitions than Marco Asensio since he joined the club, or no player's scored more. He's been magnificent. And then today you got players like John McGinn, who can come off the bench just to really tighten things up a little bit. 1-2 out of his 3 duels against a physical Nottingham Forest team. I want to say a massive credit today to Unai Emery. And I genuinely think with the momentum that Aston Villa are garnering up right now and putting together, there's no reason why they can't shock Paris Saint-Germain. There's no reason why they can't make it to an FA Cup final. And who knows, maybe even snatch a Champions League place in the Premier League as well. Massive credit to Villa. Fabulous game of football. Absolutely loved it. I was live for 7 hours on the main channel tonight, watching along all of the Premier League games. So this one for me was the best of the lot. The Palace game entertaining because 9 men against 10 by the end of it. Such a great game of football. But today, Aston Villa are the team to talk about. Big things happening here. Let's see what they do. Subscribe if you're new to more GBFC. Smack a like if you enjoyed this video. And if you're an Aston Villa fan, what does the rest of this season entail for you? You're going to win something? Going to get back in the Champions League? Going to beat Paris Saint-Germain? Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you tomorrow.